Hello and welcome to the Sisters for Fitness Wellness Show. I'm Stephanie Gaines-Bryant. Our guest today, he's been here before, but it's been a really long time.
Has it been that long?
Yes, it's been that long. Mike Jones, and you are with QStorm Media. And so today, I want to talk about one of the most powerful movies. We talk about a lot of different issues, but we seldom tackle this issue. But it to me has been more than a movie, it's been a movement.
Okay.
The movie Sinners.
Yes.
And Michael B. Jordan is the star. He plays two brothers.
Yes, two twins, Smoke and Stack.
And Smoke and Stack go to start a juke joint in their hometown.
In the Delta, Mississippi.
Yes.
Yeah. And I feel like if we want to jump right into the movie, I think it's going to be, at least on my personal list, a contender for best film of 2025. And there are many reasons about that, but I don't want to hijack your show. I'll let you.
No, for me, there are many reasons why I feel the same way. But interestingly enough, the first time I went with my husband.
Okay.
Second time I went with my best friend. My husband and I, we loved it. We were like on the same page. My best friend, not so much.
Okay.
She said, why can't we just go and watch a movie? Why does there always have to be a history lesson in it?
Right. And I think there's some validity to that. You know, I've always said, can't we just, as Black people, have films that we can just go and enjoy? And when I speak that way, like your friend was, I'm not going to speak for your friend. I don't even know who you're talking about. But I feel like, listen, we can have stories that are told cinematically that are a history lesson, but they're told through the lens of entertainment. So to me, you can go into this film two different levels: a history lesson, and I think it's a valuable history lesson, or go into it as it's just an entertaining horror film. And it's not even that much of a horror film, but there is an entertaining story to be told, minus the quote-unquote history lesson. So I think it plays on multiple levels. You don't have to go into this film thinking, I'm going to be preached to, or I have to be taught something about Black history. It's more than that. It's more layered than that.
How did you think Michael B. Jordan did playing twins? Do you think he really succeeded in separating the two men, in giving them two completely different personalities?
I think absolutely yes. Now, having said that, I've only seen the film once. This is a film that requires repeat viewings, and I think that's a good thing. So could I tell you, if I'm relaying the story to you, okay, Smoke did this and Stack did this, and no. But when I was sitting there immersed in the story, absolutely. There's a scene where we see them in the first act of the film, and I can't remember exactly, but one of them is wearing all red. I think it was Stack, and the other one was wearing all blue. And that was symbolic in of itself. The character wearing all red is the character. We're not going. Are we spoiling on this?
No,
we don't want to spoil. Okay. So the person wearing all red, he is more definitive from the person wearing all blue. And I can't tell you what happens, but it's symbolic about what happens in the story, and it is a further delineation of the two characters. In terms of Michael B. Jordan, absolutely, he plays them. I said in my review on realqstorm.com, if you want to go check it out, he plays them both where they are definitely two different personalities, two characters on screen. I think that he deserves an Oscar, at least an Oscar nomination for the role.
I was absolutely impressed with, and I wasn't impressed with him as an actor before, I'm going to be honest.
Honestly, I see what I feel you on that, yes.
So when I saw him in this, it was really powerful. I think, many people may disagree with me. I was looking at him in the same lens that I've always seen Will Smith. I think Will Smith plays himself. Yeah. In a lot of roles. And I felt the same way about Michael B. Jordan, but he showed a range in this that was just magnificent.
I would agree. When he played Killmonger, when he played, what was his name?
Creed.
Creed. Adonis.
Yes.
Fruitvale Station, and that was a history lesson. So that was a story based on true events. I mean, I thought he was great, but I thought those roles didn't really require much range from him. So I get where you're coming from. But with this film, first of all, he's playing two characters. Second of all, he's flamboyant. He's charismatic. There's a scene, but I'm not going to give away too much, but there's a scene where he tries to school a young girl who wants to make a little money on the side. And he schools her, teaches her the art of negotiation. And he's smiling. He's smiling and he's happy. And I don't recall ever seeing him do that on screen before. So yeah, he really shows some range in this film. So this film was a showcase for him, and it's something that he does that I've never seen him do before. So I'm right on board with you on that.
Now, the blues was its own character
Oh, absolutely.
in the film. I am not the biggest blues fan
Okay.
in the world, but I gained a special appreciation for the way it is an integral part of our history.
Well, see, you say you're not the biggest blues fan in the world, but that's one of the things that this movie teaches us. If you like the music that we listen to today, now you and I are of the same generation. There's a whole new generation out there. We're not going to go into that. But if you listen to the music of our generation, you like it, in theory, you like the blues. And this movie kind of proves that, because one of the biggest themes of this film is how music from the past and music in the present, well, the present of this film at least, and even music in the future is all bridged together, and it has so much power that it can bridge those different planes of existence, which is how I don't want to give away too much, but that's how the horror comes into the movie.
But I think that was the most powerful part of the movie, and I hope I'm not giving away too much, but when they showed the music from the past, present, and future, not just in the United States, but on a universal level,
Right.
the universal power of music. And it's something we've always known, but to see it on screen like that it is so powerful.
Yeah, there's a scene, and I say in my review, it's the most powerful shot of the film, where the camera is overhead, you're in the juke joint, and the camera moves through the crowd, and the music, which was composed by his longtime collaborator, I think his name was Ludwig Göransson, who did the music for Black Panther. You hear Delta Blues being played by this brilliant new actor, Miles Caton.
With the most incredible voice.
This
you've
guy's
ever
never
heard.
been in a movie before. But you hear the blues music, and the camera moves through, and you see certain characters pop up that should not be in that scene. I'm not going to say anything else. But then, as you hear the blues through that scene, you start to hear a little bit of a backbeat, and you get the head nod going, and you see, I can't say what it is, but they brilliantly merge today's musical culture, today's hip hop culture, with the blues. That's why I say, you may not think you like the blues and jazz, but if you see this movie, you realize, oh yeah, that's where that comes from. So I might want to go and listen to some blues albums, and you're going to get that same feeling.
What did you think about the way the different loves in the men's lives, how black women were portrayed? You've got Stack, who's with the passing woman,
Yeah.
and then you've got Smoke, who's got the down-home Mississippi sister.
I loved it. Well, I loved the fact, I'm going to talk about, and I can't remember her name. She has an African name. I cannot remember her name. Starts with a W. But the woman who plays the down-home woman,
Yes.
right? I love the fact she's a beautiful actress.
And she's British.
She is British, right? They're stealing all our roles,
Yes,
right? Like I asked. But
She's British.
I love the fact, and I read an article about this, that I love the fact that they cast a woman, and I don't want to be too indelicate here, with her body structure, her features.
She was a real woman.
Yes.
She's just a real average black woman.
And I was a little disappointed to read. I'm on Twitter, X, whatever you call it, TikTok, because I'm trying to promote my business and all that. But I was disappointed to see comments like, "I thought that was his mother. I thought that was his mama." I'm like, I don't know if I'm tuned in, but I knew right away that's his lover. And I love the fact that they broke tradition with that. And the actress Haley Steinfeld, as far as I know, she is not mixed. But that was a part of that culture, right? It's a part of the culture today. So I love the fact that they kind of played off of that.
Now, I read that after the movie, she didn't know it when she got the part, but after the movie, she did some research into her ancestry and found out a grandfather.
Yeah, I think I did read that. Yeah.
Is African American.
Well, that slave trade.
I'm telling you. Now, my daughter made an observation that I hadn't noticed when watching. There was a love scene between Smoke and the woman.
Oh, yes.
And my daughter noticed, she said the camera showed the woman's reaction to the lovemaking, which is unusual. It's usually what the man thinks, what the man is feeling during this moment. And she said that it showed what the woman was experiencing.
Okay. This is the scene between Haley's character?
No, between the married couple, between Smoke and the woman we were just discussing.
Oh.
And she said that the camera took it, letting you see what a woman.
That is a good perspective, but it's funny that she honed in on that scene, because there's another scene. It's an infamous scene where Preacher, I think his name was Preacher Boy, Sammy.
Yes, with the woman.
The camera really shows what she's feeling. And I thought that was a bold scene. I'm not sure what that scene was supposed to tell us. It told me that Sammy's character is not as timid as we are led to believe. But I thought that was the scene you were going to key in on.
What, and speaking of that character, there was another scene, musical scene with her, when she's
yes.
I tell you, there was some stomping in that scene. I swear it like penetrated my skin. Mm-hmm. It was so powerful. Mm-hmm. Because you've got these people are sharecroppers.
Right.
And they get a break, they get a chance to go out and express themselves and to just let their hair down and to just be. And you could feel the pain of their experiences or what their life was in that stomp.
You know what that scene reminded me of, and it's not like we have to put a bow on everything, but you can't help it. It reminded me of all the juke joint scenes in The Color Purple.
Yes.
Where, was it Suge?
Yes.
She's on stage singing. Basically, I just think Ryan Coogler took a blend of a lot of elements and just masterfully put them into this film. So that's how you get so many things that are happening at one time. But yeah, I'm with you. All of the scenes that happened in that juke joint were about celebration, and how, and this is one of the things I think there is, that how other cultures, because I'm going to say the bad guys, I think we know that this is a vampire movie, right?
Yes.
Well, on that.
Yes.
One of the lead vampires is Irish. One of the characters in the juke joint is an Asian woman who does something that leads to some conflict with all of the black characters. So I just think that it shows that there is that struggle in terms of other cultures wanting to leech off of, suck off of black culture.
But on the other hand, it showed the Irish culture, their form of dance, in a way. And I think that's a very interesting that whole Irish dance. I thought there was beauty to it.
Oh, absolutely.
And it showed their culture too, and also the songs that they presented. So I love the way it was an international display of dance and music.
It was, but when it came down to it, they still they still was trying to get in and take what we had, right?
Yes.
No, but no, I say that kind of tongue in cheek. But no, you're right. I like the fact that Coogler did give some homage to other cultures as well. You even saw some, not without spoiling, you even saw elements of Chinese dance.
Yes, yes. And I think that was due to that Asian couple who were main characters.
They were a part of what was going on in the action. Yes.
And as far as the history of it all goes, it took place, of course, as we just mentioned, in Mississippi in the 1930s.
1932.
Yes, and that was a year before my mother was born.
Oh, wow.
And it was real, that was their lives.
Okay.
The sharecropping. My mother fled the South in the 1940s due to the racism that we saw. These guys finally get a break. They're finally able to put together this juke joint, and here comes the Klan.
You know, I got to say, the first two acts of this film, let's say for the first act up until maybe the middle of the second act, Coogler took his time building that world, building that culture. And
which the African American culture or the
building the Delta,
Jim
Mississippi.
Crow? The Jim Crow
I never
South?
I never felt any oppression. Characters were happy. It was almost like the Black Wall Street in Tulsa. That's what it kind of reminded me of. Everything was cool. The one shot that I did take note of was where I think it was the Asian woman. She goes across the street from this store all the way over to her store across the street. And that was the one thing that I said, spoke to me saying, yeah, we all happy and everything, but there is still, there's a division, right?
There's another scene that I've seen a lot of comment on social media. It's a scene when Delroy Lindo breaks into song when he's telling a story about a chain gang. And a friend of his, what happened to him. And his moan, his pain, is transformed into song.
Right.
And that is also an example of where blues comes from.
Absolutely.
And it was very powerful. And it was a scene I heard that was supposed to be cut. And Delroy Lindo talked Coogler into putting it back in.
Okay.
And to me, that was one of the most powerful scenes in the movie.
Okay, I'm going to be honest. I don't recall that scene particularly, but when you brought up Delroy Lindo, I will say this to that. Delroy Lindo has never been one of my
I love him.
favorite actors.
I love it.
Until this movie. I did like him a little bit in Get Shorty, but until this film, I wasn't like, I mean, he was in Crooklyn.
He's been in everything, but he's one of those guys you might not necessarily know his name.
Maybe. I know his name now, let's put it that way. I think he did his thing on this film. But I wanted to double back and say that he Coogler built up that universe, that world. All movies are like world building movies now, right? So I almost wanted to go back and see the film just to live in that world again, because I just felt, I loved it. It was like before even the action kicks in. But what I really appreciated structurally was in the third act, after all of the events take place and we think we have the climax of the film, where these people, these patrons of the juke joint, are dealing with the evil people who come in. It doesn't end there. I don't want to spoil it, but something else happens after that brings us crashing into reality, right? And we can't talk about what that is because I want the audience, if you haven't seen it yet, why not? But I don't want to spoil what happens. But that just was like, we didn't have to do that. But then you would walk out of the theater thinking, I don't know if that's how that would have gone. And I don't know if what I'm making sense, what I'm saying makes sense, because I don't want to spoil it. But basically, the movie doesn't end when the main conflict ends. There's another conflict that is so real world, it's heartbreaking what happens as a result of that. And then I don't want to even go into the post-credit scene, but that was powerful too. You remember what I'm talking about, right?
Absolutely.
We can't talk about that, can we?
Well, can you talk a little bit about it?
Well, well, let's just say there is a scene during the mid-credit scene that jumps from 1932 to I think 1992. Yeah, 1992.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the characters who was a major character throughout the main part of the film is elderly, and he has an encounter with one of the other characters, a couple of the other characters that were back in 1932. And it just kind of cements. We really can't discuss it. I really do want to. Maybe we should come back and talk about this.
But what would you say to the people who say, I don't want to see it because I don't like horror films?
I would say to them, this is not really a horror film. It has horror film elements, but it is not a movie where you're going to have a lot of jump scares. Ryan Coogler does not stoop to that level. It is not a cheap film. I would say there was one jump scare, but you could see it coming a mile away. And it was one of those jump scares where it's almost like a fun thing. But like, why would you do that? Why did you do that? What, are you crazy? But other than that, there is nothing scary about it. Now, there's gore. There's gore. To me, gore doesn't necessarily mean horror. But there's no reason, if you don't like let's say you don't like The Exorcist, or you didn't like any of the Saw movies or any of that, you're not going to have a problem with this film. There's one scene, I'm not going to give it away, but a character wanders into the woods, and it's clear something's about to go down, but there's nothing scary that you see.
Well, what do you say to people who may have some religious objections to the play of religion in the film? Go ahead.
I mean,
that's why I brought you here.
Well, you really want me to say?
Yes.
I don't know if I don't want to smoke, but I would say politely, I think that's one of the issues with religion. It's fine to be a religious person, but that doesn't mean you can't explore the other side, but bring your religion to it. I mean, there are evil things in this world, and that's what cinema does. It explores love, romance, fear, horror, evil, right? So I don't feel like you should let that hamper you from an experience that you can take away from it what you will. You may get something out of it. It may change you as a religious person. It may affirm what you believe. So I would never let something hamper me from enjoying a film.
There are several instances in the story, especially at the end, where you see that play between the devil and your religious beliefs, and at the end, the choice that he made, knowing what he knew. That was also, so I've heard some people say, I don't want to get into that. I don't want to.
Honestly, I don't, if I may be bold, I don't care what the specifics are. You should never let anything hamper your knowledge, your intellect, your possible expansion of your way of thinking. And yeah, there have been films that talk about Satan, the devil, things of that nature. It's on screen. It's not real life. It's not reality the way it's depicted on screen. So why would you let that prevent you from seeing something that's possibly a masterpiece?
Now, we're in a day and time where African American history, some people are trying to strip it from us.
Yes.
Do you think that was a accurate portrayal
In terms of
our history and what was going on in 1932 in the Mississippi Delta? Do you think it's something that we need our kids to know more about?
I don't think it's ever a bad thing for people of all generations to know your history. I think, and this is one of the things that I was going to bring up during this time, we're living in a period right now that is infuriating, where we have people in authority that are actively trying to either downplay or, as you say, strip away all the contributions, not just of black people, but of women, gay people, trans people. So in terms of did it portray accurately, I can't speak to that because I'm not a historian of that period of time. I can only go on what I've seen, what I've read, what I've studied in school, and it's seen. And knowing Ryan Coogler as a filmmaker and how dedicated he was to this, I think this film makes him a true auteur. I have to believe that he got it right. So I'm going to say yes. I think it was an accurate portrayal in terms of the lifestyle. In terms of the vampires, of course not, but on a metaphorical level, perhaps. But yeah, I think it came across as authentic to me.
Just when we think that, just when a movie like this comes out and you think it's going to open the door to other films like that will hopefully be support. Sometimes it's like we take 3 steps forward and 2 back.
I hear you. I thought things were going to change. There's 2 benchmark moments I thought things were definitely going to change, and that was when Issa Rae got her deal for HBO and Black Panther. I remember
which is one of my favorites of all time.
Really?
Oh my
okay.
Yes.
It's one of my favorite Marvel films too. But I thought, we was coming out of theaters doing all this stuff and all that. And,
yep.
And then to be honest, it we kind of went into another black film desert. And then I think that's probably why, with the whole DEI eradication and all of that, and this new, I'm not going to get you in trouble talking about this now.
No, I'm retired now.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
You don't have it. I can't say that word. You don't have any to give.
No.
Okay.
But I want you to wrap us up with something. We got a minute left.
Okay.
Wrap us up with something positive for the future.
For the future in terms of films coming out?
What do you think the future, has this changed things, and are we going to be moving forward with more impactful
I think
films?
Right now we are experiencing, we might be on the tail end of it, but we're experiencing a renaissance in black film, black television. And I want to say people of color television. That gets a little controversial. But I just don't want it to end with Sinners. I don't want there to be another, 10 years? Because Black Panther came out in 2018.
Oh, wow.
We do have a new film coming up with Spike Lee and Denzel Washington, so I'm going to be their first day dollars. Okay? So I hope we do continue this trend. We got Jordan Peele, we got my man Ryan Coogler, we got a couple other people. We got to keep the ball rolling.
Sounds good, sounds good. We've been talking to Mike Jones. You can't make it another 10 years from QStorm Media. You got to come back more often.
Come check me out on Real REEL.
Well, we'll put that on the credits.
Okay,
we'll put that on the credits so everybody can know how to reach you.
Okay, all right.
You've been watching the Sisters for Fitness Wellness Show. I'm Stephanie Gaines-Bryant. Enjoy the rest of your day.